Hello, my name is Paul Dowell, and I'm the Dean of Missions at the Sunset International Bible Institute. By the grace of God, we began our 50th year in 2012. Our minds are full of many memories from these years, but the one thing of which we are most mindful is that it was God who has led us to our 50th. It was God who has blessed us greatly with our supporters and many fine men and women who have graduated from Sunset and gone out to many different parts of the world to reach the lost and edify the Lord's church. In the next few minutes, I want to share with you some of that rich history. A perennial problem facing every generation is the scarcity of trained preachers. Jesus saw the harvest as plentiful and the laborers were few, and made training and commissioning them a high priority. Paul praised the coming of preachers and urged that they be trained and sent to the lost. Alexander Campbell and J.W. McGarvey made preacher training an imperative in the 19th century and started schools. Klein Payton saw the need of preachers in 1962, first among the Spanish and then among the English-speaking and to all the world. The motto was born, to reach the untold millions who are yet untold. Starting with 7 Hispanic students on the Lubbock Christian College campus, he then moved in the next year to Sunset Church of Christ, and under the oversight of Sunset elders, the church was open to all nationalities. Many methods had been used to train preachers, but the Sunset School was called an experiment in that it would be the first time among churches of Christ that a full-time school with a permanent faculty would be the work of a congregation under the oversight of elders. Early teachers were Klein Payton, Burl Brockman, Bill Hatcher, Ed Wharton, and Richard Rogers, 3 middle-aged missionaries and 2 young preachers, and one passion to save souls. From Latin American Bible School to West Texas Bible School, the training effort became known as the Sunset School of Preaching. It would enjoy that name for 30 years of training nearly 2,000 men. Almost every year, new teachers were added to keep pace with the growing number of students and new programs being added to the school. In the 1970s, the School of Missions, the Extension School, Women's Program, Adventure in Missions, the Deaf Program, the Elders Program, the Slavic and Chinese departments, all had their beginning. Meeting needs was the thrust of all these new initiatives. Increasingly, the school was becoming a major influence in world missions. The World Evangelism Forum began, and it encouraged mission works in 120 nations. It encouraged more returning missionaries to teach in the school, and more alumni going to the mission fields as teams and couples. The slogan was born, "The sun never sets on Sunset." The drumbeat of training men to preach sounded loudest when Joey Macy became the 1,000th student to graduate in 1978, and when Don Wood became the 2,000th student to graduate in 1997. They each spoke of a promise kept. When will Sunset graduate its 4,000th preacher, missionary, or teacher? Through the External Studies Division, over 90 congregations have satellite schools. Also, study materials are being produced in multiple languages and many forms, including video, DVD, and e-books. Through the International Studies Division, Sunset has 64 schools in 40 nations, training preachers in their own language, their own culture, who then take the gospel to their own people. First Klein Payton for 30 years, and then Truett Adair for 20 years, have led the School of Preaching, Sunset International Bible Institute, through 3 major financial crises, through multiple expansions, both of programs, staff and faculties, and maintained soundness of faith, integrity of purpose, and a productive effort in training preachers. The host of dedicated supporters, the unknown numbers of congregations who sent their own to be further trained, the churches that enjoyed the labors of alumni or sent them to the mission fields, and everyone who prayed is a part of the history of Sunset. We all are a part of Sunset and its efforts to train preachers for a lost world and for churches who want to grow by the preaching of the Word. How long should we be devoted to the task of training men to preach? Wherever and as long as there are lost souls in the cities, the villages, in lonesome places around the world, preachers are needed to be trained, sent, and sustained. The need for Sunset and any other place where biblical soundness, a Christ-centered message, and God's grace to all men are taught is until the last soul is saved. The trumpet call is our signal to close enrollment to the school and to turn out the lights on the earth. Until then, the pressing call is to train men and women to reach the untold millions who are yet untold.